No boring intro. We're just gonna jump right into it.
Habits that are keeping you broke, overspending. Overspending refers to consistently spending more money than you earn or budget for, and often leads to credit card debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and financial stress. If you regularly splurge on designer clothing, luxury vacations, a fancy car,
Yeah.
dining out at expensive restaurants, beyond your budgetary limits, making impulsive purchases on non essential items without considering the impact on your overall financial health. This is what is considered overspending.
Your money won't grow if you don't put it in places that will return or yield a profit. So let's also talk about the importance of having an emergency fund. When you don't have that, you put yourself in a place to just blow anything that you set aside or you didn't have set aside. That habit involves, not having enough money saved and set aside for unexpected expenses. It could be medical emergency, car repair, or a job loss. A lot of
That's a big
people
one.
experienced that during the pandemic. There were some places that were open, some places that weren't open in terms of having a way to make money.
And because they weren't considered essential, they lost their jobs. And because they didn't have emergency funds, so many millions of people were forced to be reliant on the government, didn't have money to pay their rent, their mortgage. It was a mess. And so you want to put yourself in a position where you could have some sort of emergency fund, and that way you're not dependent or reliant on credit cards or loans.
Not having an emergency fund can also put you in a position where you're looking to borrow money from friends or family, or worst case scenario, going to get a loan or credit card, in which a lot of them start off with 0% interest rate. And then when those interest rates kick in,
That's the bait.
that thing start beating the brakes off of you.
Yeah.
And it sets you back, which you start to accumulate more debt.
Yeah, you definitely want to make sure that you're prepared for emergencies, so that way you're not falling into like this financial pit when something unexpected goes out. The next one is a very common one, and this is impulse buying or emotionally buying.
Yeah.
So this means that you're making purchases based on how you feel, your emotions, your desires, peer pressure, what they call it, retail therapy,
Yeah.
rather than making intentional decisions or planning for these purchases. This results in overspending, and then you're feeling remorseful and you regret the purchase. And that can look like buying the new iPhone, right? Buying the latest gadget, the new fashion trend,
They drop every season, every year.
yeah, and you can hold off on it. A lot of times, I'm sorry, ladies, we use shopping as a coping mechanism for stress. We're bored, break up with the boyfriend, or you're going out with the girls, you want to look good. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look good, but if you're using shopping as a coping mechanism, like I said earlier, retail therapy, that leads to unnecessary spending.
Switch up your outlets. If it's costing you more money than making money, it's not a good habit to continue practicing.
You can journal,
Exactly.
take a walk.
Yeah. Exercise.
Yeah, exercise. There are other ways that you can relieve stress. If you need to try on some new outfits, think of creative ways that you can actually change up a new outfit. Test your skills in that way instead of going out to shop or buy things that you don't need necessarily.
Another strong point that can help you to not be an impulse buyer is budget for it. If it's not in the budget, then you can't spend it.
Right.
Which leads to the next point, lack of budgeting or tracking expenses. Failing to create a budget or track your spending leads to a lack of awareness about where your money is going and how it's being allocated, making it difficult to manage your finances effectively. So in order to grow your wealth, you want to adopt the habit or the lifestyle of budgeting and tracking your finances.
Now, this is a big one. In a lot of communities of color, what we see is a lack of financial education.
Mm.
This means that you don't understand basic financial concepts, strategies, principles that are needed to make informed financial decisions, and this leads to poor money management and missed opportunities. Think about in schools, kids are not taught basic financial management skills. They're not taught how to be an entrepreneur. They're not taught about the stock market. And if the families aren't aware of these things, then kids go through life, become adults who make poor financial decisions.
So after school, you have to enroll into financial school, which is self-education. And there's tons of resources online.
YouTube University.
Yeah. Listen, we've learned majority of our financial literacy out after school. And it's just like in comparison to barbering, where at school you learn the theory and learn how to pass the state board. But in essence, if you really want to learn how to cut hair, you got to get in the shop. You learn on the job these set of skills that were not taught to you in school. Case in point, not knowing how to read and interpret financial statements, understanding importance of your credit score and how they impact borrowing, or lack of knowledge about investment options and retirement planning strategies are some of the things they just don't teach you in school.
Yeah. So financial education is the cornerstone. It's the building block of building your financial future. Because if you don't know where you are, like we talked about before, you don't know where you're going, right? But you also need to understand what it is that you're doing so you don't fall prey to people trying to offer get rich quick schemes. You're paying high interest, more than what you should, investing in things that you don't understand. That can really put you in a bad place, because you think you're doing a good thing by investing in this fund, but if you don't understand it, if you don't know what it entails, you don't understand the fees, you don't know or understand the volatility when it comes to investing in the stock market, you'll be set up for disappointment. Think about the Ponzi schemes. All the time, people invest in things they don't know and they don't understand, and that's due to a lack of financial education. As you learn more about financial education, as you learn about investing and savings and different strategies, you want to make sure that you save and invest for your future. If you don't, you can end up unprepared for retirement, miss out on opportunities to grow wealth over time, and that can lead to not just financial insecurity, but you have nothing to pass down to your kids or to the next generation. I've worked in banking for some years, and I've seen 60, 70-year-olds, getting a job, working at Publix because they can't afford basic essentials. And you want to make sure that you, your parents, your grandparents, that they're not in a position where they're first forced to work, sick, not well at their best, or being taken advantage of because they don't have any money saved up for retirement.
It's important that you contribute to a retirement account, such as a 401k or IRA. Keeping savings in low interest saving accounts that don't keep pace with inflation, or avoiding investment opportunities due to fear or lack of knowledge about the marketplace. If you find yourself in any of these areas that you're struggling in, we'd love to help you. Stay connected with us, and also do your own research. What we're afraid of is what we don't know or understand. And oftentimes it keeps us behind, watching everybody else crush it in life. Get off the bench. Get in the game. We're living in a time now where there's too much resources, too much information for you to not get progress or the results that you're looking for in your life.
If you're still watching this video, that means you liked it. So make sure that you like and subscribe for more content.
Peace.